Hey everyone, my name's Maddie. I'm a 23-year-old competitive climber from Canada, currently living in Montreal. So this is the final competition in our trio of local comps that I've been doing leading up to the World Cup circuit, and this is the Mile End Send. This is actually probably the competition I was most looking forward to this year. I was at this event last year and it absolutely blew my mind. The setting in finals was so good. It was so challenging, really, really difficult. I actually found it more difficult than nationals even. And so I was really excited to get back at this event and try those really hard final boulders again. So here we are in the qualifying round. There's 30 boulders today. So here I am in number 25. I actually warmed up quite a bit before the round started. So as soon as 9 a.m. hit, I was right on to number 25. I think it's probably like 9:05 at this point. Like we're about 5 minutes into the round here. And I just hopped right on it because I was ready and I knew I could do it. So I wanted to do it immediately. So you're looking at this next boulder here. This is probably the first hard one I did. So this is number 27. And this one was definitely one of those kind of low percentage ones. And when it comes to scramble rounds, you kind of want to pick the ones, well, especially if you're looking for, making finals or thinking about, preserving some skin or energy for the last round. For me, I always try to pick the ones I know I can do in 3 or 4 attempts and not go for the ones that are going to take a million tries or something I have to really work on and then get eventually. It was a 2.5 hour qualifying round, but I wanted to try to get it done as quickly as possible so that I could rest as long as possible for the final. So this one was one of the ones that was kind of on the edge. The first kind of toe catch I wasn't super sure about it, but it ended up working every time. So I was psyched to not have to waste or spend attempts trying to catch the toe. But then this next move was very difficult. I was really trying not to do this dynamic beta that they were going for. So I was trying whatever I could to skip it. As you can see, I tried it there and it just did not feel like I could do that in 3 or 4 attempts. So this last attempt, I was determined to figure something else out. And I did end up figuring out how to do it statically. So you can see I am still kind of figuring it out on the wall. I'm kind of feeling everything out I can. And I realized I could grab the start hold and then get a quick inside flag going. And then I'm just grabbing a screw hole on my left hand. And then I very carefully, and it's still the body tension is crazy. I'm just being forced to the right, but I'm doing everything I can to lean back on it. But as soon as I let the momentum go, I'm just slingshotting right towards the finish hold. So as long as I aimed properly, it was this pretty solid kind of beta. So that was my first really hard boulder. And I knew once I had that one, I was pretty good for the final. Of course, I needed to fill my scorecard out. We needed 5 boulders in this scorecard, which was good because usually it's 6. So I was very, the less boulders is the better for me. So yeah, with 27 under my belt, I was pretty good. I just basically had to fill it in with some other boulders and then I was going to be solid for finals. So this red one was one I really wanted to try. This one was a little bit on the hard side. This is number 29. And yeah, this first move was just a little bit crazy. The right hand I'm holding is just a little bit bad and you kind of have to undercling it and kind of switch grip as you go for the hold. So that one didn't go, and Zach was not competing, but he was kind of coaching / filming me, so he told me not to try that again, even though I really wanted to, and then we just moved on. So this next one is number 28, and 28 for a slab is kind of it could be one of those boulders that's worth more points than the difficulty is. Now, of course, this slab was very hard. This slab actually took me a lot of tries. I know I said I was trying to aim for the 3 to 4 kind of range, but this one was one of those, jump and balance kind of starts. So it naturally takes quite a few attempts. I don't know. I wasn't actually counting. As soon as you hit 3 attempts, all of your, if you send the boulder, it's just worth the same amount of points. It only reduces points after your first attempt, and then your second attempt's 5 points less, and then your third attempt's 9 points less. And then anything beyond 3 is just still 9. So as soon as I got to 3, I was like, okay, I'm not going to keep counting. Obviously, we're just gonna deduct 9 points whether I send this or not. But yeah, it took me a long time to figure this one out. And slabs can always go either way. So when I say it was graded 28, but it's a slab, so someone who's really good at slab but maybe not as good as at the power boulders could sneak in a really high graded climb and get a really good score out of it. So in this case, I'm not amazing at slab. I'm not terrible at slab. So this was definitely, it could have gone either way. But I was pretty determined to at least start this boulder. Zach ended up giving me this beta where I just jump and land on the higher start feet instead of trying to balance on both of them. But then the start hand is so bad. All I'm doing is grabbing the screw holes here, and they're very shallow. Like, they clearly didn't want you to do this. But somehow I made it work. Like, another second and I was just coming right off this boulder. I told one of the setters of this boulder that this was probably the hardest I've tried in a very, very long time. It wasn't, a super physical move, but I had to focus 100% on trying to sneak my left foot back down to the other start hold. So this was a really, really hard boulder. This was definitely the hardest send I had today. And it took maybe 15 attempts. I wasn't counting. But that was a really good send. So as soon as we got that, we're officially on a roll. And now it's time to fill in the scorecard. So I believe I have 27, 28, 25. So this is 23. It looked pretty solid, nice, like not super hard, not super easy, a good grade to have on my scorecard. And then this was the last boulder I wanted on my scorecard, number 24. I did see one of my teammates do this one before me, so I was determined to do this one as well to make sure that I was keeping up with her. So this one was actually a really, really cool boulder. This was probably one of my favorite boulders from the day. It was kind of this like funky, like choose your own adventure kind of boulder. I felt like there were a lot of different options on this one. And I ended up kind of feeling it out. My beta, like I didn't really have a clear plan going into this boulder. So I was definitely like just moving my feet around, moving my hands, like crimping things weirdly. And I ended up doing this beta for the finish, kind of a touch finish. Most people were doing this like crazy jump into the finish hold and like catching under a cling and then with their hand on top of the sloper. But I was able to just kind of get a perch and match with two hands. So after I was done that one, I was supposed to be done for the day. Like that was enough. My skin isn't great, so I wanted to preserve it. But this boulder is really calling to me. It's number 26, which is a little bit strange because this was probably one of the hardest boulders of the day. All these holds are really bad. My left hand right now is trash, and then the right hand pinch, second last hold I'm going to, also quite trash. But I was, feeling a little bit energized, and I did get my hand on the finish hold, so it was very close. But we ended up with this scorecard, which was enough to keep us in first place going into finals. So here we have finals. The format for this final is what I believe they call rush format. So it's when you have 3 climbers with you on the wall at the same time, and you all have 8 minutes to send your boulder in front of you. Last year, they only did actually 3 boulders, and then this year, I was surprised they added a 4th one on. So 4 boulders, 8 minutes per boulder, and then you're cycling through all the climbers with you. I think I went with the person who placed first, so me, and then it was 3rd place and 5th place. So I was climbing with 2 other girls. So this first slab, I was not confident at all on. I've been practicing this kind of move where you kind of have your right foot on the hold and you quickly switch feet and like step with no feet or no hands and like clamp the 2 feet. But I was able to actually break this boulder, I believe, and just kind of reach up for the left hand. Now, while I wasn't like super psyched to have just broken it and not practiced that really hard movement that I've been practicing, in a competition, of course, I'd love to just do what I'm better at than what I haven't really practiced as much in the event. So I was glad that I was able to find another way to do it. But I was also really happy that I committed to a break on my first try and made it work. Because sometimes committing to a break, maybe you don't really know if it's going to work or not, or you kind of misjudged how long your arm is and you kind of weren't able to reach something you thought you would be able to reach. So I was glad that I kind of scoped it out properly and was able to commit fully and execute on the first try. So this next boulder was very, very difficult. It looked like they were going for one of those 360 moves. You might have seen it at the Roseblock Championships video that we have. That was most likely their intention with this move, but I found it very, very difficult to try to do that. When I encountered a boulder like this in the past, I was able to do the 360 move kind of no problem-ish. Depending on how hard, of course, it's set. I think the one that I practiced on was a little bit easier. But still, I wasn't really finding the flow with this move, and I felt like I knew how to do this. So I had to find a different way to do it. And you can see on that attempt, I decided to try to just go kind of like a bicep curl, like having my hand facing myself and not with my palm facing the wall. So that allowed me to just go straight into like kind of a paddle straight to the zone. The zone was the hold on the volume. So as soon as we did that, we were able to get to the finish hold. And I knew that one other girl actually topped this boulder before me. So the pressure was kind of on for me. And 8 minutes is a very long time to be doing a boulder. So I felt like some of my attempts, I was not trying like 110% because I knew there was just so much time I could afford to almost fall. But obviously that's not a very good mindset. And it's something I do struggle with in this format. You feel like, 8 minutes, of course I'll send it. It's just a matter of time. But I remember on that last boulder, I was looking at the clock and I was like, whoa, there's a minute and a half left. I better do this already. So fast forward to boulder 3. This is our straight power boulder. So I was really confident on this one, but I did actually fumble the first attempt. I guess I was getting into kind of a breaking beta mood and I was trying to break it again and it didn't work out quite as well. But the move is actually just it's just a step and stab your hand kind of move. So it was super sick and I should have just tried it on my first attempt. This was probably my biggest mistake in the round if I had to pick one. I should have just committed to it, especially since we are kind of leading up to World Cups right now. So it's not just about this local event. It's also about me trying to refine my skills of on-sighting. So yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. But we still topped it, so no harm, no foul. And then finally, we've got the last boulder. So this one was probably my favorite send in finals because I remember Zach told me after the fact that he looked at this boulder and did not think I would flash it. And I guess was a bit skeptical of whether I could top it or not. And as you're about to see, I do end up flashing it. So this was really a hype moment right here. I just was totally in the zone, just thought I'm going to go for this crimp and I'm going to hold it no matter what. So it was a very, very successful event. I finished the final round in first place, which was awesome because last year I was in second place. And it's also a great way to leave off my local comp season leading up to the World Cups.